Tuesday, but more importantly, it's the day before. Married at First Sight, Season 11, Decision Day. And I am going to do my makeup, so I figured I would hop on. Hey! Teresa, Texas girl, I love your handle. Good morning, good morning. Thanks for hanging out with me. Oh my gosh, y'all. Tomorrow is the big day. Decision day for Married at First Sight Season 11. I understand that not all of you maybe watch, but you should start. If you don't already, you should totally start. Good morning. Okay, remember, if you have any questions, the easiest way is to use that little question tab thing at the bottom. Because if not, they just flow through the comments and I can't find them or see them. At least not easily. Hi, honey. I'm trying to wave at everybody. Thank you. Good morning from Houston. Yay. Love Houston's hometown. Hey, Maya. Maya is on the West Coast. Virginia, awesome. Thanks for joining me. Aw, Mommy Osh says, no question, you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Thank you. That was nice. Let's see. Let's go with this first one. Hannah, Rancho Cucamonga. Never been, but sounds familiar. Colorado, good morning. London. Okay, that might be the prize for today for whoever is the farthest. But I appreciate everybody. Thank you. Okay, so this first question, were you surprised by some of the decisions on Decision Day? I'm always surprised on Decision Day. Not necessarily by the overall decisions, but I'm always shocked by how everything happens. There's like no I'm sorry. I'm having some flashbacks. There's no predicting the way it's gonna go. Like we show up and we're usually, kind of nervous because there's so much energy and like tension, especially for this one because we hadn't even been in New Orleans for months at this point. We couldn't be. So this is going to be the first time that we see them. And we do literally see them for the first time as they're sitting down across from us. So yeah, there's no predicting the things that happen on Decision Day. Good, bad, ugly, amazing. So yeah, definitely surprised. So tonight is Tuesday, which is wonderful. I see V. Roger Flores says, can't wait for tonight. Tuesdays are amazing, but tomorrow night, Wednesday, is the big day. It is the Decision Day episode for Season 11 of Married at First Sight, and then Thursday night is the reunion episode, so y'all don't have to wait a whole week to find out what's been going on. I don't know how that decision was made, but I think it's amazing. Very excited to just have an amazing week for Married at First Sight. Hey, Idaho. Okay, let's see. The next one was, oh gosh, how do I know? Okay, sorry. Okay, you guys need to do a Married at First Sight or lunch where parents get their kids, get them out of the house. Like maybe our participants who are already married and have kids? Is that what you mean? I'm not sure. I'm all for whatever it is. Lunch sounds amazing. Okay. How often do I have to be away from my family during filming, and is it tough? So it is very tough. I actually commiserate with my husband almost nightly about it. But we understand that this is my work, and he's handling everything amazingly with his own job and things at the house, as well as the kids and the dog and school and all of the responsibilities. But yeah, it's definitely been tough. Whoever has to be away from their homes and families for work, you know what it's like. It's like some days feel like they fly by and other ones just drag on and on and on, and you're like, can't I just be on my own couch? Can't I just be, not alone? And, when you're used to having a household that's full, you kind of get used to being around people all the time, right? So yes, it's definitely tough. And as far as how often, it really depends on the project. I could travel once in 3 months, that happens, or it could be 3 times in 1 month, or I could be away for a month, or, so it's totally just kind of like all over the place. Good morning. Casting for the upcoming season in Houston is still open. You can go to MAFS Houston, so that's MAFS, M-A-F-S, married at first sight, houston.castingcrane.com. Please, if you know of anybody who is serious about getting married, who's serious about wanting to let us take control of who they end up with, then yeah, please have them do that. Good morning. Hi Liz the Sexpert. I love your handle. Okay, so I'm sorry, that was failure to launch. Got it, that makes so much more sense. Yeah, failure to launch, kids. Hey, you never know. Pitch it to kineticcontent.com or at kineticcontent.com. With the process everyone goes through to be picked, or is it surprising when you get people like Brett or Zach from last season? They made it through for a reason, but it is so disappointing when they turn out to be duds. I don't think that we can really say that anybody's a dud. They're humans, they are brave, they're participants. They, like us, we don't know what it's like to be married until you're married. They don't know what it's like to be in front of the cameras until they're actually in front of them. So I don't think that it's appropriate to call them duds. The marriage may have struggled more than others, and that's really tough to watch and to witness. But yeah, no, I mean, it's disappointing when the marriages don't work out, for sure. Okay, advice for reigniting sex life after kids. Well, hopefully you're not waiting to get on track with that until after you have kids. You certainly want to, got my Starbucks, of course. You certainly want to work on that while you're dating, when you're first married, and even during pregnancy. I did my doctoral project on maintaining sexual intimacy during pregnancy, and there's a lot of research about it, but there wasn't at the time. And what I have found is that a lot of people, as soon as they get pregnant, or even during trying to conceive, will lose sexual intimacy, and it becomes very mechanical, and they lose the bonding, they lose the excitement, they lose the variety. So then whenever they do finally get pregnant, fear of sex during or intercourse or any sort of sexual activity during pregnancy makes it to where they don't end up having any sort of sexuality during the 10 long months of pregnancy. And then after that, of course, women's bodies have to recover and rehabilitate, and depending on what your experience was like, there might be some emotional rehabilitation as well, and recuperation. So before you know it, it's been a year and you're sexually alienated from your partner. So if you're stuck in that position, I would say 100% try to get help from a certified sex therapist like myself. There is a lot happening virtually, so you have access to people from all over the world. It's not that you can't do it on your own. Everybody's capable of working through issues on their own. It's whether or not you know yourself well enough to be able to really do what it takes to work for, on your own. It's kind of like getting a personal trainer. There are times where people are like, oh my gosh, I could just totally do that on my own. And they do. And then you have other people like me who, a personal trainer, like, I maybe will only work out if I go to see a personal trainer. Now, that's not the case now because I don't have one, but just in general, some people need an outside party to guide them. So that's where that is. Okay, so yeah, definitely get help from a certified sex therapist and talk about it. Don't let your partner think that you don't care. Don't let your inaction when it comes to sexuality be misinterpreted. Okay, I'm getting so many good questions. Okay. Oh, I love these questions. Okay. Good morning, Dr. Viviana. I start my journey towards my doctorate in MFT in January. All right. I'm so excited for you. Becoming a licensed marriage and family therapist is so incredibly rewarding. It's so helpful. It's always different. Every session, every day is always different. Every couple, every client, every family. It's so nice because you don't have to worry so much about burnout like other professions do, especially helping professions like psychotherapy and counseling. We tend to have really high level statistics for burnout because it's really hard to just like always be giving. But I find that being a licensed marriage and family therapist is just so amazing. And I'm so excited for you. Yeah, so just be open. Make sure that you're looking for ways to enhance the education that you're getting. Maybe do a certification as a sex therapist while you're doing it. You can look at my program. It's called the Texas Sex Therapy Institute, and you can go online and find it at becomeasextherapist.com. Okay. Let's see. Okay, any advice you would give your younger self if you were 18? Advice to someone who doesn't believe in the love. Interesting. Let's see, you wanted to come on my live. I am going to get you on my live. Oh my gosh, how do I do that? Here we go. Where are you? There it is. Okay, I'm asking Miata 2002 to come live.
Hi! Oh my days,
Good
I'm so
morning.
excited. Hi!
Good morning. So what's your first name?
Miata, I'm from London, so it's not actually morning over here. It's like almost 3 o'clock.
Okay, well, good afternoon in London. Viana, it's so nice to meet you. So how did you hear about my page?
So I've been watching Married at First Sight, like literally religiously every season since season 3. And I've seen different experts and stuff like that, and I've got to say that I feel like you're my favorite, and that's why I always, like, every time you do like a live, I'm always like, oh my god, I hope she answers my question. I'm always so excited.
Oh,
And I love
awesome. I'm
watching your
so
Married at
glad.
First Sight. I love watching your Married at First Sight. I love your advice, and I love the fact that you give advice for not just the couples, but also I can take this into my life when I meet someone or someone else. Like every time I watch you, I always cry when the season's finished because I'm going like, oh my god, 6 months I can't speak to her. But I love you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for taking the advice and kind of applying it to yourself. That's truly why I do this. I mean, I'm able to speak to individuals and couples all the time across from me, or now it's more virtually, but that's kind of very one-on-one, and I love the opportunity to be able to share all the things that I've learned since I've been seeing couples since 2003 and share it on a much bigger platform. And yeah, I really do try to impart help, right? This is all about help. And sometimes the show is able to really kind of showcase what I do, even
Yeah,
behind closed doors with clients, really well. And other times it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I like that part of what I said too, but I really like this other part too. But you know, they can't possibly show everything that we talk about. So I'm so glad you're getting something out of it. That's like
I feel
exactly
like
why I'm
crying on
doing
it.
this.
It's so amazing.
So
So
tell me, you said on your question that you are having trouble believing in love. Is
yeah,
that right?
yeah.
How so? Are you having trouble during the pandemic?
No, it's like been something that's been happening like for the past 2 years. So when I was 16, now I'm 18, I started working off in like a fast food restaurant, and I was dating someone for 9 months, and it was like a really bad relationship and stuff like that. And then I kind of took a year out. But the reason why I said is that I don't believe in love is that because I've been in like two relationships and I've been lied to really bad. Like one of them, I found out that he was engaged. He lied to me saying he wasn't engaged, and the other one lied to me saying he wasn't married. And I always fall for the wrong guy so bad. Like just telling someone, oh, I'm married. It just, it
I
just,
am so, so sorry that someone was willing to deceive you in that way and obviously doesn't have their heart or head in a good place. I'm really sorry to hear that.
and I got
I
so
think it's
laughed at
awful.
for believing something like that. And I've been hurt so much by guys, and I'm just so young. I feel like I'm messing up my life really bad already, and I'm so young.
Well, you are so young, which means that you definitely have this whole wide world ahead of you to be able to experience new and better things. And it is really hard to get past that. I appreciate that comment. It's very hard to move past these things. If you're struggling and you find that you aren't able to get out of it, then you certainly want to look for a therapist. Again, there's lots of amazing help available to you online. If you need something right away, or if you can wait, then you can go in person later on when the restrictions have lifted. But the other thing is, you know, I can see, I had no idea the kind of people that would apply to be on a show as radical as Married at First Sight. But your story is one of the reasons that, and one of the many that I've heard from the participants, that maybe they weren't chosen, maybe some were, but there are so many stories of heartache when it comes to dating. And there are so many stories of really struggling to find that person, you know, that's committed to you and that you can build a life on. And that's what we hear all the time from applications, you know, and they're saying, I've been lied to. I don't want to spend the next 10 years of my life wondering if this person is the right person for me. You know, it's really terrible. And you know, we certainly want to end that search for our couples every season. We want them to not have to feel like they have to go back into that again. You know, my husband and I, we often kind of talk about what people we know are going through and what we hear on TV, and of course our couples and all that. And I'm always, you know, we're both really share with each other how fortunate we are that we have found each other and we don't have to date anymore because it is really, really hard. You know, you don't have to have been in the game for a while to realize like this is very difficult and dating right now is especially difficult, but especially when you've been hurt. So I'm thankful that you shared your story with us. I'm thankful that you know you've reached out and that you're finding some help with the show. Definitely sending hugs to you, sending positive dating vibes to you. But of course, if you ever feel like you need help, definitely reach out to a therapist and just kind of work through some of that. And then of course, love yourself. You know, there's maybe someone else isn't there to love you right now, but you certainly can do that for yourself. And we're finding that there are many, many ways to find fulfillment in with being single while you want to be. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. Big hugs. Thank you, London, all the way from London. I really appreciate you. And thanks for requesting to be on my live.
Thank you.
Make sure you tune in tomorrow.
I will. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Yeah, there's so many stories like that Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper and I are hearing from people who come in, who we meet with, potential husbands and wives for our program. And they're all struggling. So many people are struggling in the dating scene. And it's it's really hard. You've heard some stories from, of course, Amani from this season, and you've seen and heard, maybe if you watch the matchmaking special, you've heard what's happened with Karen. But that's just a drop in the bucket. There are so many stories of dating gone badly and of pain that, people are inflicting on each other, and they don't want to deal with that anymore. And then maybe they get a call from somebody who's from the casting. Maybe they see a commercial. Maybe they read it on the news, whatever it is. And they're like, oh my gosh, what if this is me? What if this is the way that I can find my forever? And it becomes less and less radical once you start thinking about the possibility and all of the work that we do to try to vet all of our potential husbands and wives. So yeah, I'm getting so many questions. This is great. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see. Did any of you all on the panel feel a little bad for any of the pairings? Not as if it's anyone's fault. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Have you ever set up a friend on a date and then it doesn't go well? Think about that kind of like, oh, I feel really bad, and that kind of guilt and disappointment, and then multiply it by what, 2 million? Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Oh yeah, definitely try to convince your single Houston friends to apply, but they're the ones that are going to have to go through this. So can't force them. We want people who really want to do this, right? And I think, I don't know, this is actually a question for y'all, and I actually really want to do a Q&A, but reverse it to where I get to ask y'all questions. I can't do that today because I don't have time, but definitely want to do that. So what, sorry, I got totally distracted. Oh, shoot, that was a good question. I don't see it now. This is a question for you. What was I saying? Oh, so like when it comes to, everybody's like, pick my question. I'm so sorry. So when it comes to people who apply for this, obviously we find them in all sorts of ways. Sometimes people will turn in applications on behalf of someone else, a friend, and then of course they get reached out to and they're like, what? And then they get explained to, what happened and what the show is all about and all that. So, and I wonder what y'all think about the fact that people are sometimes unaware of the show, but then find out about it through a casting person, and then are like, oh my gosh, that is so me. Because I bet a lot of y'all didn't know about the show until like social media came around and started promoting it more. So, sorry, I'm going to be all over this because y'all are all over the place. I love it. Somebody asked, what did you think of Amelia saying she just thought it would be cool to be on the show? I actually just answered that question on a podcast. Ashley I, from the Bachelor franchise, check out her podcast. And I'll post it, of course, and all that. But yeah, I answer that question on the podcast, so you'll have to check it out. So I think it's a great idea. Some people may be too prideful to do it themselves. That's true. Some people, you have to like twist their arm to do something that's great for them. I think that may be the best option, not knowing about the show. Sure, yeah, some people just don't just don't know about it yet, and don't know that it, what it's really about. Okay, more questions. Okay. How do you express that your partner may be holding the relationship back due to their upbringing or inner child issues? Nobody wants to be therapized by their partner, but certainly if you're in a relationship where that's the case, you want to encourage them to talk to someone about it. Like, hey, I'm noticing this. You've said one of my favorite questions to encourage people to ask their partner is, what examples of healthy relationships do you have, and why do you like it? Like, what is it about that relationship that you really like? And sometimes through that conversation, they'll find out that they don't have a lot of positive role models when it comes to marriage, and healthy relationships. So that's a good opportunity to say, oh, okay, and how has that affected you? How do you think it's affected you? And how do you think it will affect us? So that's, I would say, definitely encouraging them to talk about it. And then if through that conversation you see that, it's still an issue for them and they struggle with it, then I would for sure ask them to talk to someone professional about it. Let's see. Is difference in upbringing examples of love? Okay. It can certainly. If your frame of reference for relationships are mainly negative or chaotic or toxic, then yeah, sure, it can definitely be something. But not always. I mean, some people will use those as templates of what not to do. You can certainly learn about what not to do. Just like with the show, it's not like everybody's perfect, and you're going to find yourself learning how to be in a great marriage. Sometimes through their ups and downs, you're learning how to be, how not to be, or how to communicate differently. So, yeah. Okay, more question. Oh my gosh, keeps going. Okay, how to speak to your fiance about speaking with a sex therapist. So I would say the number one way to do that is to first just have a talk about what is working well in your life when it comes to sexuality and sensuality. Because then when you share something that you think you'll need to work on, you can then say, look, let's try figuring this out on our own. It's important and I want to be with you forever. But if for what, like, let's give ourselves a month to work through this. But if for whatever reason we don't, we'll reach out to somebody. So you always want to give yourselves the chance to work through something, and then know that if you can't, the expectation is that you'll get help professionally. Can you give advice on how to start affection when neither person will initiate? We've been married for 8 years now. So this is a hugely common, and obviously it's not optimal, but a hugely common issue that I see with a lot of my clients. Initiating affection when you haven't had it for a long time can feel very awkward, and it can feel like you're under the microscope, and it can feel like a test. So what I like to do with my couples that I work with for counseling is I just assign them very specifically what I want them to do. So for instance, if you were to say, oh, we don't kiss hello and goodbye, then I would tell them, okay, first of all, we've tried to figure out why or why not and what the barriers are. But if it's just a matter of we've gotten out of the habit, then I would say, okay, so for the next week, twice a day, when you say goodbye in the morning or when you say good evening, hello in the evening, then you will kiss for 3 seconds. I actually have a program online that helps people walk through rebuilding that sort of intimacy and passion. And it's at drvivianamethod.com. the drvivianamethod.com, and it is, it's about rekindling intimacy. So check that out. You can do that on your own. It certainly is helpful, and I've had hundreds. I don't even know. I need to start counting. Maybe even thousands at this point, but for sure thousands of people. I don't know if I have thousands of people. I don't know that I'm old enough to have that happen. But yeah, for sure I would check that out if you want to try. And it's inexpensive, especially compared to going through therapy. And it is a 6-week program. So check that out. The site, well, you can go to drviviana.com and just spell it out, just like my handle, Dr. Viviana, and then add the .com, and you can see my programs there. I have different programs, but that one's the one that is very specific towards trying to get that connection going again, both physically and emotionally. It's not just one or the other, it's definitely both. Okay. Thanks so much for joining. Okay, I need to continue doing my makeup. It was so cool to have somebody on from London. How neat is that? It's always so awesome. Y'all, oh my gosh, if you haven't had the chance to yet, I am having the most fun time posting all of my behind the scenes. I always post behind the scenes during the season, but for sure, like towards the end of it, I just love going through all of my albums because I am definitely the historian out of the three of us, experts, and I'm constantly asking them to take pictures with me, and maybe they didn't appreciate it at the time, but after, like now when I'm posting everything, it's so much fun, and they do enjoy it. So check out my stories because as if 2020 wasn't hard enough for everyone, it even threatened Decision Day and even being able to have it. So yeah, check all those out. You'll learn a few fun facts about me, which is kind of silly, but definitely fun. Okay, so as far as my foundation and concealer, it really depends on how bad my melasma gets, but I am using Dermablend because it's like for real coverage, and I'm doing something kind of fun today, so I need like some major coverage. And then I'm using the Stila Stay All Day. And it has a little concealer on top for times when I don't necessarily need as much coverage. It's right there at the top. And then I use the Hoola by Benefit. It's a bronzing powder. Super popular, everybody loves it. Tends to go with lots of different skin tones, so I love that. And I typically put it right over here. I look very muddy right now. I am not paying attention. I was just going and talking and stuff. So I will need to blend that in for sure. Or else I'm going to show, oh my gosh. Okay, I definitely need to pay more attention. I'm looking very muddy. But yeah. Concealer here, and then I'll put a little bit here sometimes. Just because I've seen people do it online and it looks pretty. Okay, much better. And then I tend to put it along my hairline again because that's what people do online. And by people, I mean Jennifer Lopez, who always looks flawless. So whatever she does, I'm going to try to do. And then I learned recently to put highlighter along the nose. And then someone, while I was doing one of these, told me I should put it in my Cupid's bow. So now I do that. And then I've always known to put it here. Look, bags. No bags. Bags. No bags. It's all about the lighting, people. It's all about the lighting. are there any books you would recommend for anyone wanting to become a relationship coach or counselor? So there are so many books. I can't even like I can't keep up with them myself. I would say Esther Perel is amazing. She has a really great narrative way of sharing information, meaning that whenever you read her books, it feels like she's talking. So it's very easy to digest. I love that. I'm working on a book. Um, Obviously not at this moment. And this is what happens all the time. I was just talking to our publicist the other day. I'm like, we spent the entire day getting stuff done for the show and for all sorts of stuff. And I was like, this is why I don't end up writing my book, because I find so many other things. Like somebody said, Dr. Sue Johnson, who's amazing, Crates for Connection. I haven't heard of that one, but I've heard of Sue Johnson, so that's cool for sure. And Dr. Pepper Schwartz has like 26 books. Dr. Pepper is one of the other experts on the panel of Married at First Sight. She has been on the show since season 1. She is a sociologist, she's a professor, and she knows a lot about relationships, and she's got 26 books. So definitely you can pick up one of her books. Okay. I am going to, oh wait, I can talk a little bit more while I do my eyebrows. So this is great. Unbelievabrow. Unbelievabrow, I have found is great because it lasts for like at least 2 days. So, but you have to be careful because wherever it goes, it kind of stays. It's like kind of like long-lasting brow gel. Palmer Counseling Consulting is putting out a list of the books that they recommend. So if you're taking notes, why not take notes now? Thank you. I cannot keep up with all of the relationship books that are out there. I don't know about y'all, but when I did my graduate school, so I did my master's and my doctorate in marriage and family therapy, after that I was like, I'm not reading again. I don't want to read. I want to read for fun. So it takes a lot for me now to pick a book on relationship help that I'm like actually going to sit down and read. I have to have like 3 or 4 people tell me I have to read it, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll read it, because otherwise I'm like, I just want to read for fun. What am I reading right now? The Whisper Network. It was on the Reese Witherspoon book list. No spoilers, okay, guys. I'm almost done with it. But yeah, I love reading for fun. I love mysteries. I love like beach reads. Of course, romance novels are fun. Yes, Liz the Sexpert gets it. Same. I took a long break from reading after my master's program. Yes. Like, I will not read unless I want to. And then something else that I do that's fun. This is called Highbrow. Sorry, probably easier to do it. Highbrow from Benefit as well. And it's like this little thing. And what I do is I put it right underneath the brow. Looks crazy right now, but when you blend it, it makes your eyebrow look much more defined. And it kind of highlights right under the brow. Ooh. I know, y'all need to encourage me to write. So don't be doing this live, go write. Yeah, I only do these lives really because I'm trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, which is connect with y'all and do my makeup. And y'all are sweet for not giving me a hard time for pulling double duty. Oh, first of all, the pandemic Halloween, the kids understand. It's just not going to be the same. They'll still get candy. That's all that matters. So yeah, no, nothing is happening. We are not risking it. Not at all. I'm getting a couple new questions. How do you feel about life coaching? I think life coaching, let's see, how do I say this? So life coaching is obviously helpful. It's very, very different than psychotherapy and counseling. In the future, you'll see a project that I'm working on that makes me have to do life coaching, and I feel like I struggle to kind of pull back from psychotherapy, and like it's like I want to just go deep. That's what I want to do. I want to just like dive right in and hey, let's talk about your past. Let's talk about everything that's informed your decisions. Let's do all that. But when you're doing stuff on screen, you need to get to the point quickly. And that's great for life coaches because that's what they do. They don't tend to go very deep. They can't. They're not allowed to. So it's definitely different. It's helpful in a different way. And it's great for TV. But I find that I struggle to not go super deep and just kind of pull back and stay on the surface level. I want to ask them questions. I want to know the ins and outs of everything that people are going through. And that's not doing that is actually what a lot of life coaches do. Obviously, you know, there can be someone like me who's allowed to do life coaching because I'm further licensed as a marriage and family therapist. But then there might be a life coach who they aren't further licensed, so all they can do is life coaching. But it's very helpful, especially if you're needing some behavioral changes and some work when it comes to that. I think it's great to go just see a life coach to help you get on track and keep you on track because I think it's a better use of time and money and resources to not necessarily go seek a psychotherapist for something that a life coach can do. Thanks for the question. Oh, okay, let's see. Everleen Rutherford. I love that name. An idea for the show would be to get fans' input on the final show. I would love to do that. Do you mean like y'all would comment on the decision day? I think that's what you might mean. To kind of get feedback. Yeah, anytime. But you know, a lot of people do that online, so you can do that online. There are lots of review shows now. I mean, back in the day, if you were to not back in the day, I mean like a season ago, if you were to do a search, Google search online about with like Married at First Sight reviews, there would be maybe like 2 or 3, and now I don't even know how many there are. But yeah, and live tweeting, absolutely. Live tweeting during the show. Lots of people are live tweeting. When I live tweet, it is so hilarious to read what people write, especially the ones who keep it like funny and just kind of light. Obviously, there are bullies online, and that totally stinks to see. But you can just scroll past, right? So yeah, it's a lot of fun to live tweet during the show. I would highly recommend doing, like when you're doing a search on Twitter, do hashtag Married at First Sight, and you can keep up with what people are doing live, and it is so creative, so funny. The observations are hilarious. There's a lot of mean ones on there, but there's a lot of mean people out there, so what can we do? Awesome. So I have to put extensions in, and that's going to take a lot of work. I'm going to be all over the place. So I'm going to end this live, but I'm so glad that y'all joined me. Please tune in tomorrow night, Wednesday on Lifetime. It starts at 8/7 Central, and then Thursday night is the reunion episode. So I want to hear everything that's going on. Please feel free to comment on my feed. Check out my stories because I'm having a lot of fun this week on those. And I hope that everybody stays safe, stays sane, wear a mask, don't go out if you don't have to, and if you do, follow the rules. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.